But let's get right into it, right? I think that the prelims itself are going to set each other up so well for a main card. And Johnny Muñoz Jr., we talked about him on one of our Prospect Watch episodes, and Jamey Simmons. These guys are kind of your young and untouted type of guys, but Muñoz has a bit of a following. I think that he's hella exciting. The Nate Maness fight, right? That's what we really saw, in him in terms of just a guy who came in on short notice and was able to stay in the fight in every area it went to. Nate Maness, go look at that fight. If you look at the judges, I mean, he was pretty happy to get that win, and I don't think he knew for sure that he won that fight. No, you look at the Jamey Simmons side, and I think it's a little different, right? You look at the way he fought against Giga Chikadze. I mean, let's talk about Giga for a quick second here. That trajectory from a Simmons fight to now Dark Horse title challenger since, mid-late last year, that's pretty crazy, right? So Giga all day, but Jamey Simmons, right? Wrestler extraordinaire, is going to be looking for those takedowns. Striking game was a little, raw and on its way, I guess you could say, against Giga. And in this fight, he's going to need that, right? The one thing I love about Johnny is that he's bringing a black belt jiu-jitsu game to what is a blue belt and wrestling forte. And I think that's where you look at Muñoz and think, where are the areas that he could really, really lose this fight? I think that the key path to victory for Jamey is actually still pretty small given the skill set. I mean, it's going to be the wrestling, it's going to be working in the clinches, control time, taking the fight to the ground, very similar to that TJ Dillashaw fight against Corey Sandhagen, where I think Muñoz is actually going to be able to scramble pretty well. This should be, his couple fights in the UFC now if we saw him back in April, but unfortunately we didn't. And I really do think this is a tough fight for Jamey. Keys to victory, like I said, is just using that wrestling and trying to see if he can use any of that control time in top game to do some damage. But Johnny's going to have a good distance striking advantage here. I think that he's going to be able to, if not finish him, really put in the work from a points perspective. And I think that's where you're going to see a line of, minus 250, even into the minus 300s. Like, I think that's an opportunity there just for how good Johnny's going to be looking against a guy that we've just not seen that much. And when we have, just kind of a fish out of water, whereas, seeing Johnny on short notice against Nate was something pretty much to marvel at. And so let's take a look at these lines like we always do. We're going to breeze through this card and make a final pick at the end. But, I mean, Johnny Muñoz opening as a minus 30 and now looking like he'll close around that minus 330 to minus 300 range. Jamey came in at a plus 185, and I mean, some people right now are offering it a plus 170, so you can get that one pretty high up if you're feeling the dog in that one. But I think it's a very tough call on that one, and I think we're going to go with Johnny. I think that's the pick here. It's very tough to see him lose this fight, and I think that 100-point movement in that line kind of suggests the same. So looking forward to that debut fight, and I think it's going to be a banger.